to give you this beautiful, amazing release your money blocks talk so you get to get beyond where you're blocked with money. Now, often what we do is we go into a state of lack, littleness, or holding ourselves back when we're about to do something big. Like say we're about to launch a new program or starting to up level our business to another level from where we are, right? And our blocks get in our way. Like we start to believe things that aren't true about ourselves. And what I found in my business was that whenever I was stopped with money, it was because I had limiting beliefs called money blocks. And those money blocks actually really are powerful. They will keep you stuck and stopped when it's time for you to go to that next place. Okay. So what are they? And why do we have them? So blocks are just energetic blocks. They keep you from stepping beyond your comfort zone or where you've been so far, otherwise known as a glass ceiling, right? So what I wanted to share was the beliefs. The blocks actually have energy associated with them. Thoughts and beliefs have effect, right? They have an effect. They'll cause you to step forward or they'll cause you to step back, right? They're gonna scare you. That's how we know they're blocks. They're stopping you from taking that next step because it's too scary for you, or some part of your psyche that believes that you shouldn't do that it's not safe to go forward. Okay, so a block is where your subconscious mind is scared of the next level. It's scared of you taking that step. It thinks it's not safe. And so the block is there. It could be a limiting belief from when you were in childhood and you were doing something new and someone said something to you and it became lodged in your mind as a belief. Okay. And it's also from your family of origin, right? All of the beliefs and money story that you had growing up, how your parents talked about money. Did they bicker over money? Did they argue about money? Did they divorce over money, right? Because money is a huge issue that people are very, very triggered by, right? It becomes our survival. And so that's why it's so deep to go through this release of the 23 most common money blocks. That's a program that I offer. What I want to share about it is that you're entitled to financial freedom. But when you don't believe you are entitled to financial freedom, you have some money blocks. You have something in your way that is stating you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. So sometimes you've always believed those thoughts, and sometimes you've grew up with them. You may have stepped away from your parents' beliefs and you created some of your own. Some of them you formed in your adulthood. Maybe you were married to a partner who had issues with money that you don't have, but you kind of took them on. Or maybe you were involved in a spiritual community that taught you a certain thing about money, and then you believed that too because you were part of that community and you wanted to fit in. And you absorbed a lot of these emotions. Blocked emotions are absorbed from other people. That's why it's not really your fault. Okay, it's not your fault that you have money beliefs that hold you back. Everyone has some kind of belief that holds them back. Or they waste the money, or they spend it too fast when it comes in, or it's not safe to have money. It's not safe to invest in money. Some people believe they only want what they need, right? These are examples of money blocks that get in your way. Now, in this workshop, I'm just going to teach a little bit about which beliefs I have been working with people on for years and which are the most common that I have found, especially in the circles that I'm in with transformational work, right, and spiritual work. There's a lot of belief around money and spirituality. And so that's something that has to be undone in order for you to have a thriving business. So we do this kind of work not by affirmations. And I want to point out why I don't necessarily believe you can just talk your way through. I do believe affirmations have a purpose and they're good for you. But if that's all you're doing, you're not clearing the energy first of the block, then stating an affirmation constantly is like putting a Band-Aid on an open wound that isn't going to be healed by just putting a Band-Aid on it. It has to be looked at, dealt with, taken care of, and really healed. Okay? And without feeling it, you can't heal it. That's another thing that you have to understand about blocks is without feeling the block, you're not going to be able to release it. So my business is to help people go deep enough to look at the belief, get the support. I'll hold your hand through it. Don't worry. But you get the support to actually take a look and shine a light on where that block is. What is that belief you keep holding on to? Most people are very unconscious about it. They don't even know, right? And often I don't know. I have to go looking, okay? And I mean for myself, right? I have to look and ask myself, do I believe that? So I have this program called Release Your Money Blocks, which is shines a light on about 23 beliefs that are the most common ones. And I just want to share how we release those beliefs, because if you can learn how to do it yourself, you won't even be stopped by this anymore, right? So in my experience, unless you do the deeper work of really looking at your specific beliefs and freeing yourself from that constructed identity that you have with, say, holding yourself back, being in your comfort zone of lack, littleness, and suffering, until you do the work on that, you're going to stay with them. They'll stay with you for life. And you may go to your grave with them, never having really achieved financial freedom or happiness or joy around money. Now, money is just a thing that we have a relationship with, right? It's a currency. It's not this big thing that we think is everything. And that's what a lot of people get caught in, the idea that, oh, if I have more money, I'll be happy. And a lot of times you'll find that that's not true. That happiness has very little to do with how much money you have. It has to do with your relationship to money, okay? So if you have an unhealed relationship to money, no matter how much you have, that unhealed part of you, that woundedness, is still going to be there. And so that's why I do such deep work with people on this topic, from all walks of life, from people who are CEOs, from people who have businesses and are doing very well. They still might feel this sense of lack or littleness, or maybe something's missing, because even with all the money, there could be something missing, because your relationship to yourself and your self-worth has everything to do with your relationship to money. All right. Those two things go together. They really do. Self-worth and money, because it's value. Money is all about value, and self-worth has to do with how you value yourself. Got it? All right, good. So what are these beliefs? I started offering this workshop for early on in my business because I realized that was what was blocking me. And if I helped other people, I would be helped. And that's just the nature of the law of reciprocity. If you give something to someone, it helps them, it helps you too. So truly, I've been there. When I found this method, the results began to change for me and all my clients. And most of them have gone on to create a business that they truly love. Some of them have gone on to create millions in a business they truly loved, because we went deep enough to clear out what was blocking them. Whether it's trauma or it's a belief system that you were handed down, anything where you hold yourself back or are held back. Maybe there's shame. There may be shame associated with money. There may be shame because you may have lost a bunch of money. You may have gone bankrupt at some point, or you may have lost money in a divorce, or you may have had to fight for all your money. I don't know. But whatever that is for you, it has to be looked at and dealt with in order for you to be powerful with money. Okay? Now, let's look. What is it? The two most prevalent beliefs people have. And I'm going to get to the first two. And then we'll talk later about how you can clear out the rest of your 23 beliefs, because I have a program for that, and it's not hard. It takes about an hour to clear out 23 beliefs, so it's not a big deal. But it is something everyone needs to do to free themselves. Now, I want to save you time, so I put together this powerful program that's only an hour that's going to give you the answer to why you're still stopped with money, why you're still stopped with creating a business you love, or just being more wealthy and more free with money. So until this belief is released, affirmations are just empty phrases. And You do have free will. You do have the power to change your belief system anytime you choose. Anytime. Okay? No one can take your belief from you. You have to be willing to give it up. And that's a big part of my process is I ask you, are you willing to let this go? Because sometimes we are and sometimes we're not. And when we're not, guess what? It won't go anywhere. You won't be able to give it up. So sometimes your mind is very stuck. It's very hell-bent on staying where you are because it's afraid of what it would mean if you were free of that and you had a lot more money flowing into your life and into your business. I've been stopped there, so I really get it. But beliefs are not solid. They're actually fluid. They come and they go, but until you release them, you have them. Okay? So that's one thing you have to know. Here's another thing. Events from your past, your deep wounds, the healing that begins with clearings might take some time. Once you learn how to do this, though, you learn my methodology, you will be more successful at it, and it won't take you as long as, going into years and years of deep inner child work. You don't have to do that, okay? This is faster than that, and it's much more efficient, okay? So I want to ask you if you have a belief that I found was the number one reason people don't make a lot of money. And this is it. I don't deserve it. Okay? That's the big one. I don't deserve it. Maybe someone told you that in your life. Maybe you grew up in a family that they didn't have a lot of money. I don't know. I did. But I had 8 brothers and sisters. And my whole thing was we couldn't buy clothes. We had to make our own clothes. Had a lot of hand-me-downs. No problem, except that over time, that began to make me feel diminished, right? Like it's just not, I can't just go buy, a sweater or a pair of jeans, and that was really hard for me growing up. I didn't like it. And so I vowed that I wouldn't go through life that way. I would have money growing up, okay? So the second belief that most people share and that keeps you from attracting the money you want and really being free with it, being willing to be generous with it, let it come and let it go, because it does need to flow and it works fast. The second belief I think most people have is that I don't have enough. That's what keeps people in scarcity. The idea that you don't have enough or you won't have enough if you spend it or let it go or buy something that seems extravagant. There's this deep fear that there's never enough. Okay. Now, maybe you don't have that belief, but I've found that probably about 90% of the people I've worked with have that belief. There's never enough. Unless you've really worked at it, you really have learned how to take care of yourself financially, and a lot of people have, no problem. This class really isn't for people who feel okay about money. It's for those who struggle with giving up their blocks, okay? So those are the 2 most prevalent beliefs. And I want to start to give you something else. This program will work for you if you realize that this is not personal. It's personal to you, but it's not your fault. You landed on this, right? It just happened to you. It's like you got wet in the rain one day. You're walking around in the rain and it started raining and you got wet. And the next thing you know, you're just feeling this sense of lack or scarcity or littleness or lack of self-worth, and your life takes on this whole trajectory because of it. You attract people that also mirror that belief. You attract people that don't treat you well if you have poor self-esteem. You attract people that perhaps want to take your money from you because you're afraid that people want to take your money from you, So you attract what you believe. And that's what really matters, is that you really understand that you attract what you believe. Powerful. They're like chains, these beliefs. And you have to learn to let them go, release them. That's what I teach. So step 1 in this whole process is to recognize that money is associated with 2 emotions. Okay? Money is associated with 2 negative emotions when you're stopped and you don't have what you need. Okay? Or you believe you don't have what you need. You probably do, but you don't believe it. Even if you have tons of money, some people think that's not enough. Okay? Doesn't matter how much you have. Your circumstances have nothing to do with this. This is all about your relationship and your belief system. All right, the first thing the first emotion that is deeply troubling to people is blame. And you feel the sense of blame because you're afraid. And you feel this resentment that something happened and it's bad and wrong. And you may be blaming yourself. That's how I was. I was blaming myself for what I went through. And it was not my fault. But I didn't know that at the time. I can be very hard on myself, like a lot of perfectionists, a lot of women that grow up around people that struggle, that you do take it in like it's your issue, like it's your fault. When you're a little kid, you can't help it. Everything really resounds with you, revolves around you. So, first one is blame and fear that you don't have enough, that you'll never have enough, that it's futile, you might as well give up. It creates this whole cynicism and this resigned feeling that you'll never get there. So I want to take that away from you today. I want you to get that truly giving up blame of yourself or of anyone else even is important. It's actually critical that you stop blaming yourself. And the only way to do that I've found in my life in 30 years of transforming minds is to forgive yourself, to recognize I have this sense of blame and discomfort. It might make you cry when you think about it because you've probably had it for a really long time. But forgiving yourself for believing it, because it's not true. It's just a thing you make, a belief you made up, a story you made up, and you keep believing it. So you did make it up so you can release it. And because it's not a true belief, it can be released like that, like very, very quickly. So it's that simple. Healing isn't complicated. It's really just noticing where you're wounded, taking a look at the belief you keep holding, and being willing to go through a simple process of release and letting it go. That's all I do is teach people how to do that, okay? Because I want people to be free and happy and have lots of money and have a good relationship with money, have a healthy relationship with money, okay? Now, the other emotion, I said there were two, right? Besides fear, which causes you to blame, the other thing is shame. Now, often we go through life, say in 2008, when people lost a lot of money, they lost their real estate deals and everything that they were going through. That was not their fault, but the whole thing happened. The debacle happened. People lost everything. They had to move. A lot of people left certain areas of the country to go somewhere else to start over. It was traumatic. And it really affected a lot of people. Now, maybe you didn't have that experience in 2008. Maybe, though, it was a different experience. Maybe you went through a divorce and you lost your income, or you lost your security or sense of security around money. And you had to learn how to deal with it, by yourself or on your own. And a lot of women have gone through that and have been struggling with money ever since. Okay. So you got to forgive yourself. I've been through 3 divorces, so I understand, each one was a little bit like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? But I found myself learning how to take care of myself and how to have my own business and how to step into my power and how to really help others do the same. That's what I want to do. So the shame around what happened, whether it's financial, whether it's a divorce, whether it's, I even went through a custody issue that created a lot of emotion. So those emotions have to be looked at and dealt with. They're just part of your life that you have to release. So the forgiveness comes in there too. And what are we forgiving ourselves for? Like, it's not our fault. So why do I have to forgive myself? Well, because somehow you still believe that there's something to be ashamed of. Okay, so you're not forgiving yourself for what happened. You're forgiving yourself for believing in the thought. The thought is something that you can let go of, right? It's simply it's not a true thought. It wasn't your fault. Or maybe you didn't know better. Maybe you were in a position in your life where you weren't making good decisions. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point of it is, it's just a thought, and a thought can be released in a few minutes. Okay. So I forgive myself for believing that I should be ashamed of my financial situation. That's the first one. So take a look. Do you blame yourself for your financial situation? Do you feel ashamed about it? Do you feel afraid of your financial situation? Do you feel like you should blame someone else? It's all part of the same soup of what our ego mind does. It just keeps us in this loop of shame and blame. Okay. And we want to release that today. Now, how? Well, I forgive myself for believing, just state this out loud with me. I forgive myself for believing this thought that I should be ashamed. It's not true. I thank God it's not true. It's just a thought. I don't have to believe that anymore. And take a deep breath, hold on to it like it's a big bag of rocks you're holding on to that's heavy. This shame around money, and just feel it. Feel how heavy that is. You've been carrying it way too long, and it's burdened you and it's kept you stuck. Ready? We're going to let it go. If you're willing, you have to be willing. We're going to count to 3 and we're going to let it go. Ready? All of your shame around money. On your mark. Get set. 1, 2, 3. Deep breath. Let it go. Truly let it go. I'm an energy healer. I know this works. It's like, ooh, yeah. See, it comes out of my heart. It comes out of my throat. My throat's drying up right now as I'm speaking. Good. I'll take some water because I could feel that starting to happen. Yeah, there's energy in the heart and in the throat when we start to go deep into these issues. So tap your collarbone and release. Forgive myself for believing that I should be ashamed of my financial situation. There's no reason for me to feel ashamed. It's just a thought, and I forgive myself for believing it. Again, let it go. Okay. Good. Now, this is how we give up. That was shame. Now we're going to give up believing you're bad for getting into the financial situation that you were in or have been in. Or maybe you're in it now. Okay. But same thing. You want to look at it and hang on and take a look. Am I believing that I'm bad for my situation? That I screwed up? That I should have done something better and wrong and it was wrong? And it's all wrong. Okay. This making it wrong is really the key. You're holding on to a grievance or a resentment with yourself or others. Maybe you're blaming the other guy. Okay. Same thing. You're blaming him, you're blaming you. It's a poison you keep trying to give someone else, but you're hanging on to it. That's what grievances are. They're poison you keep taking and wanting him to suffer, but he's not suffering. Or she. They're not suffering. You are. And that's important that you understand. So I forgive myself. Ready? We're going to let this go. I forgive myself for believing I am bad for getting into the financial situation. It's just not true. I thank God it's not true. I'm going to release it. Are we ready? Big heavy ball of rocks, bag of rocks. 1, 2, deep breath. 3, let it go. Now, you might not think this works, but I promise you it does. It releases the energy. It releases the attachment to the belief. It's not true. I thank God it's not true. I'm not bad. I'm not wrong. Just what happened. Okay. All right. Now, those are 2 ways that I help people release beliefs. There's several others that are very deep, very powerful. But I want to point out, that's the one I'm going to share today. I want to point out what the 23 most common beliefs are and see if you feel that any of this is true for you. If you do, then look me up. I would love to have you, and I'll put the link in the comments. I would love to have you take a look at my Release Your Money Blocks class. It's a very powerful masterclass that helps you learn how to do what I'm doing. And it also takes you through the release of 23 beliefs. So you don't have to do anything. You just lie there and deep breathe and let go. Okay. You notice it. Do I feel that? Is it true? And then just let it go. Really powerful. It takes about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to release 23 beliefs. And you can stop it. It's yours forever. If you get it. It's really not expensive either. So I wanted to share that with you. So I'm helpless over my financial situation is belief number 1. I don't trust myself with money. That's another one. I'm incapable of handling my financial issues. That's all victim, right? Like I'm incapable. Um, the other one is money is the root of all evil. Religious belief we've been handed down through the generations. I'm afraid to have more money than my family or my friends because it would set me apart, right? There's fear around having more than others. I'm afraid to be criticized for having wealth. There's a lot of that belief about believing people are going to not like you, they're going to hate you. It's all crazy stuff, but we have those thoughts and beliefs. I promise you we do. The other one is it's not spiritual to have money. That's a big one that I've helped a lot of people with. It is very spiritual to have money because if you have money and you're working for the spirit, for your spiritual gifts and you're giving them to the world, you're going to help a lot more people. You're going to have a lot more impact. If you learn how to give and receive, give and receive, give out, but receive, charge what you need to charge for yourself. Don't be a chronic under earner. Okay. I don't care if you're spiritual or not. If you're not, that's not that spiritual if you believe you're supposed to be in lack. That's very unspiritual. Just so you know. It's deeply unspiritual to believe you shouldn't have more than what you need. Of course you should have more than what you need. You should be enjoying this world. You should be enjoying the abundance of this universe because it's a law. The law of abundance is a law. And the law of reciprocity is that as you give, so you shall receive. Give and you shall receive. It multiplies. Bring yourself out into the world. Teach what you're here for. Give away your gifts. Do what you said you would do when you came into this world, to give the gifts of from your heart to other people. That's what I wanted to share today. I want you to know that none of those beliefs need to stop you any longer. I have a quick program that will release them. I also really want to encourage you, if you are a spiritual healer, to please contact me. Get your work out into the world. This world needs you. People are suffering. They're struggling. They don't know how to find the help they need. Often they're going to the traditional medical route and they really need to go holistic, but they don't know who to turn to. And that could be you that they're looking for. And they don't know how to find you if you're not visible enough, if you're not coming out of your closet and coming out of your holding yourself back because you don't want to be that woo-woo. Okay? This isn't woo-woo. This is science. Science of the mind. It works. Okay? The mind is all powerful. Everybody knows that. But are you doing something about it? Do you believe it? Okay. I'll give you a couple of affirmations before we go. I wanted this to be short today. Here are some that you can state to yourself after you've cleared out the beliefs. These are some of the vibrational frequency lifts that we're giving people. I create my life. I create my life. I create all the experiences that I have with money in my life. I create them. I am 100% responsible for clearing up my money beliefs. I am 100% responsible for cleaning up the past and my money shame. I value money. I take care of it. I'm a steward for money. Money's important to me. I deserve it. I embrace receiving money, a lot of money, for my work and my services. I embrace receiving money for my services. I embrace new opportunities for business in my life. I embrace new opportunities. That's often where it comes. It comes in the form of belief. It comes in the form of really you taking on what's next in your life. How can you move forward? How can you get beyond where you are if you don't take full responsibility? You won't. That's the key. And often we want to blame someone else so we don't have to take responsibility. I was stuck there for a long time. I get it. I'm open to receiving more money into my life right now from sources I don't even know about. Everyone's going to be happier when I receive more money because I'll be giving it graciously. I'll be able to help a lot more people. I'll be more visible. I'll be more happy, and people will want to be around me. I can be generous because I know the source of all good. Everything is always coming through you. It's not from you. It's through you. It's coming from the source. Just like all of life, it comes from the source. Are you tapped in? Are you tapped into the source? Or are you holding back and saying, no, I don't deserve that, or whatever? All right. I openly receive and give money knowing that the source of all good goes with me. The source of all good goes with me. I create my life. The source of all good goes with me. I release all resentment regarding money problems I've had in my life. There's a good one. State that aloud every day. I release all resentment regarding money problems that I've had in my life. And then start doing something about it. Don't just do this work. Sorry. Take action. Because your money story is holding you back. But if you take action, you take repeated action and persistent, consistent action toward getting your money situation in a better place, you're going to have a lot more fun. You're going to have a lot more life, a lot more energy, and a lot more love and money flowing through you. Thank you so much. I hope this supported you. Please reach out to me. I would love to work with you. I'd love to tell you more about my work and how I support, especially women in entrepreneurship, CEOs, people who really want to bring their work into the world and something is holding you back. Thank you so much. I love you, and I hope to see you again soon. Blessings. MonicaDubé.com. Bye for now.